Here are my way too early XXL 2020 freshman class predictions, and that just sounds wrong. 2020? Wow, it makes me feel really old. In reality, I'm not though. But if I somehow miss your TikTok superstar rap sensation, I'm sorry. It's just I'm not that demographic. I try to throw a couple of them on there, but we'll start off with the easy ones first. The artists that I know of, and the first guy we're gonna be talking about is NLE Choppa. By far not the biggest artist I have making the list as of right now, but the most relevant as of July 2019. It's gonna be interesting as we progress by the end of the year if NLE Choppa will still be the hottest artist out, if some of these guys I have on the list won't even be hot anymore, and if some new random artist comes out of nowhere and blows out all expectation and is going to be a lock for 2020. I've said this before, but as an artist, he is essentially the younger version of NBA Youngboy in terms of popularity and the demographic that listens to his music. Now, NBA Youngboy and Quando Rondo and all of those guys, they're never making XXL. So I feel like NLE Choppa is a brand safe version of NBA Youngboy and all those other guys, but in reality, not so much. But maybe XXL will think so and, throw him on the list. Considering XXL already covers him and invites him to the office, I'm pretty sure it's a lock for NLE Choppa unless something crazy happens. The next spot I have Polo G. A lot of people were outraged. Polo G and his partner in crime did not make XXL list. We'll be talking about his partner in crime next. But Polo G could have easily replaced guys like YK Osiris, Lil Mosey to an extent, because I feel like Lil Mosey's career has peaked. But he had one of the rap songs of the summer, and he took not making XXL this year really well, all things considering. He said he's a fan of it. So since he didn't pull a famous Dex and, start cursing out the company, I feel like Polo G is a lock, just like NLE Choppa for 2020. Next up is Lil Tjay. His partner in crime, Polo G's at least. They only have one song, but that one song really helped their careers a lot. And I would say Polo G made Lil Tjay, but in reality, that's far from the case. They both kind of blew up at the same time, and that collaboration of Pop Out really solidified both of their careers, because Lil Tjay had his song Brothers making some noise before their collaboration song, and then Polo G also had his song Finer Things. So it was the perfect timing for both of these guys to make a song together, and Lil Tjay is also a lock, I feel like, for 2020. And then we have Lil Tecca, which I feel like is the last lock for 2020. These four guys are for sure going to be on the list unless they decide to decline it, because they've had their blow up song. They've built up their fan base and now are starting to do numbers as a whole. Anyone in the future, in 2020, 2019, that does a video with Cole Bennett and Lyrical Lemonade, gets over 15 million plays, has a solid chance of making the XXL list. Cole Bennett's been out here making careers for the past few years. It's crazy. And it's not like the artists were bad before, it's just that he gave them that platform, and that platform has elevated them and have made people aware that their music is good. So Lil Tecca, for sure a lock for 2020. So now that I got the locks out the way, it's time for the guys that may or may not get the cover. And the first guy we're going to be talking about is Cowboy. I can't roll my L's apparently. Cowboy. His name's not Cowboy, it's Cowboy. There you go. He used to have some numbers in his name, but then he changed it when he has a blow up song in Envy Me. And Envy Me is a good song, don't get me wrong, but I believe it blew up off of TikTok, and we're starting to see a trend. In 2020 is going to be crazy how many rappers are going to be on the freshman list because they blew up off of TikTok. But blowing up of TikTok doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad artist. I personally enjoy his music, and I feel like now that he has that one hit in Envy Me, he has to follow it up with another decent project in the coming year, because I don't even think he was in consideration to vote for in 2019. XXL may feel like he's already too big, or maybe they felt like that was a fluke considering that was his only song out at the time. So we'll see what happens in the coming year with him. But so far, the artists we have out, we have a more melodic cover, it seems like. Let's see how the rest of the roster fills out. Next up, let's talk about Coi Leray. I don't really know any popular female artists now that Rico and Meg are no longer there. Coi Leray's, I guess, next up. Call me ignorant for not knowing any other female artists, but she's dating Trippie Redd, You know, that's a plus. That's always a clout booster. Also, I want to talk about Coi Leray because she was in the not the Amazing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Coi Leray, who isn't a popular artist beforehand, was able to get a song on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And this was before Trippie Redd. So either Coi Leray is an industry plant or 2 + 2 = 4. Nah, I'm just kidding. Coi Leray is not an industry plant. She actually makes decent music, and I'm not talking about her this long just because I'm on her label as well, and they're paying me money to talk about her as long as I am. That's a joke, by the way. I'm not actually getting paid. Next, I have Young Nudy, which you may have heard of, and you don't even realize. You know, Playboi Carti's leak, his Kid Cudi song. Young Nudy was on that, and I believe it was supposed to be on Young Nudy's project, but for some reason it wasn't. But that's how I originally got hip to him. At first I thought it was like Gucci Mane on the song or something, and then I realized, oh, okay, this guy actually makes decent music. He's on the same label as 21 Savage. I believe they're somehow related as well. But the Revenge of the Dreamers album from Dreamville really helped elevate him, and he was even trending like that midnight because people were listening to a track with Young Nudy and J. Cole, and I feel like that's what got a lot of eyes on him. And if XXL was smart, they would put him on 2020, because if that's any indication of how his career path will be going, it's a good look. Speaking of which, let's talk about Guapdad 4000, a fellow artist as well that was invited to be on Dreamville's Revenge of the Dreamers 3. You can go back and look at some of my older videos. I've been pushing for Guapdad to get a larger spotlight, and I feel like 2020 is definitely that year. His verse on Costa Rica, or his hook rather on Costa Rica, is what made that song as special as it was. Him on Wells Fargo as well. Guapdad absolutely killed the Dreamville project, even though he's not with Dreamville. He definitely should be though, after the amazing performance he had on the album. His voice is very unique in a sense that really nobody sounds like him. I don't really see it happening because Guapdad's very low key in terms of doing all the press runs and what have you, but I hope it happens. The world needs to know about Guapdad's music, and XXL is a good trajectory for that. Next I have Don Toliver. He was a part of Cactus Jack Records, came out of nowhere when Travis Scott released Astro World. That's when, you know, a good majority of people first heard of who he is, kind of throwing the label of an industry plant because, you know, being signed to Cactus Jack Records and nobody really knowing who you are, what does that make you? Industry plant or not, doesn't deny the fact that he makes good music. He's a singing type artist, but not like a YK Osiris type singing artist. I'd compare him more to a Travis Scott artist type. A lot of auto-tune singing, not Travis Scott rapping though, however. This year was way too early, I feel like, for Don Toliver. I know he did a pitch, but he kind of came out of nowhere, and having another year under your belt and having a catalog definitely helps his case, depending on if he wants to do it, because he signed to a pretty big record label. Last but not least, I have YBN Almighty J. This is probably his last chance of making XXL. I feel like he's done 2 or 3 pitches by now. So if he doesn't make it this year, he's never going to make it. I just personally feel like he has the potential like Cordae, but I don't think the YBN guys are super serious about making music. They're like 20, 21. They're kind of young. I mean, 1 or 2 years away from me, but they just don't make consistent music, if that makes any sense. Like, they have popular songs, but not consistent music. And I feel like in order to be relevant in today's music industry and be on XXL, you have to be consistent. And Almighty J is definitely not consistent with the music. Just like Cordae, he hasn't dropped the project, but maybe the YBN guys are in like some secret label where they're all on it, and the label pushes each YBN member per year. So last year was YBN Namir, this year's Cordae, and next year's Almighty J. Who knows? Because Namir definitely hasn't been doing anything, and Cordae, you know, it's kind of been his time to lead up into an album. So maybe next year Almighty J. I mean, it'd be cool to see YBN guys on it 3 years in a row. It's kind of like the Rich Forever guys, except for they actually get the love from XXL, and the Rich Forever guys didn't. So we'll see. For the ciphers, I'd have Polo G, Lil Tjay, and Lil Tecca. That would kind of be like the all-star group. The second cipher, I would have NLE Choppa, Coi Leray, Young Nudy, and Guapdad 4000. Guapdad and Young Nudy kind of got the vibes going, and Coi Leray and NLE Choppa, they got the aggressive flow, I guess. But the third cipher, I would have Cowboy. I gotta make sure I pronounce that L, and you know, can't speak English, I apologize. Don Toliver and YBN Almighty J, probably the weaker of the three ciphers, but a very melodic group of artists in terms of the whole cover, and I think it would be a very good one. So we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comment section below. Agree, disagree, who'd I miss? Leave a like, subscribe, share the video around, and I'll talk to you in the next one.